I'll be missing you right next to me. Everywhere I go, it's Christmas. Christmas, wonder and delight. The season to enjoy Christmas, but I'll be missing you right next to me.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Vlogmas. It is Vlogmas Day 12 right now. I am a little bummed I did not post a video yesterday, and I was like beating myself up over it. But to be honest, I just was not having the best day, and I literally was like filming a little bit at a time, like all day, and I didn't have a video ready to go, which is probably my own fault, but I don't mind filming and editing and posting the same day. But when you're having a shit day, it's a little bit harder. So I decided instead, one of these days coming up, there will be 2 videos in one day. I did start December 1st. I know a lot of YouTubers start December 2nd, so that's what's trying to make myself feel better, but I need to start getting back on like a day ahead schedule, because I feel like that's what helps me the most during Vlogmas, and it gives me more time to prepare if I'm just having one of those days where everything is going wrong. But we are back. I did dye my hair darker. It's like this purpley color, and you'll see that in tomorrow's video. I'll include some clips that I got before I took the rest of the day, but it's darker and more purple, and I love it. It is 8:30 a.m. I have my coffee, and we are going to be doing a video that I definitely want to start doing more of, and that is salon horror stories. I've been in the industry since 2013. I get so many questions, especially from a lot of you guys that want to start doing beauty school, which I think is freaking awesome. I went to beauty school in 2013. Honestly, I think after this, I'm going to do worst bosses I ever had story, because I've had a few, and I'm sure a lot of you in the salon fields can agree with me. I basically worked at a couple different salons for like 6 months, 7 months at a time, until I eventually left and started my own business at my dad's house. I had an in-home studio for 2 years, and I've been on my own since. I eventually graduated to like a salon studio that I rent. So I've been on my own since 2015, and that so happens to be when I really started taking clients. These couple clients that I have in mind are actually going to be clients that I've had since being on my own. So I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to just tell you guys about them, why they were so horrible, and how to resolve it. So I'm going to tell you how to fire a client, because that's what kind of stinks about being your own boss. I have friends that work at a salon, and if a client's crazy pants, they'll just have their boss handle it, but I'm the boss, so it sucks sometimes, because you just want to be like, can't I just ghost you? But you have to be professional. You have to try and resolve it. Let's get into it. So my first client I'm going to talk about, she was my first like absolute nightmare of a client, and she was honestly absolutely horrible. So I remember when she came in, I thought she was a little out there, but she was honestly fun, and we talked. She told me about her life, and she loved her hair, and she went on and on about how she's never happy and how she never sticks with one stylist too long, which usually is like a red flag, but she absolutely loved her hair, and I loved it too. So there were a couple issues that I had with her. So first of all, she was always late. And I'm not talking like, 5-10 minutes, because now if I have a client that's notoriously late, I'll either tell them a time that's a little bit earlier than their appointment, or I'll make them like my last of the day, just something that won't really matter. Even my clients who I know are usually late, like they really do try. She was like 30 minutes late. Now remember, at the time it did take me a little longer to do services because I was so new, maybe 3 hours to service, but she would be like 30 minutes late. And now, usually if someone's that late, I will have to not do the blowout, which I hate to do, especially because it's built into my prices. So she would pull the whole, well then how much is my service going to be if I don't get the blowout? Now what's tough with that is I don't add extra for the blowout. I charge really just based on all my color and everything, and I do the blowout complimentary. So now it's like, I'm going to charge you less for something that is already built in, 1. And 2, I've been here. Like if I was running late and then I couldn't do the blowout, then that's one thing. But like I was here, I was waiting for you, like the time was still taken. So that was an issue. So I remember specifically, I felt bad when she said that. So I remember I was like, come back in Friday, I'll do the blowout and style for free, because it's built in and it shouldn't really work like that. But I was trying to accommodate her a little bit too much. I remember for Friday, I had her booked maybe for an hour to wash, blow dry, and curl it. She had a lot of hair. Comes like 30 minutes late. Now I remember, I think I was working just for her that day, and I was working from home, so I didn't really mind too much. I was also very young. I was 19, so I was still learning how to like approach certain things. But now she had somewhere to go. She had to like pick up the kids that she babysat for like in like 20 minutes, like something ridiculous, where I told her, like, that's not happening. So you're either staying here or you're going. She's like, no, I'll stay. I'm curling her, and like she has a lot of hair, like so much hair. She would be like, how many more pieces do you have left to curl? And I remember I'd be like, it doesn't really work like that. Like, I don't know. And also maybe sometimes I'll curl a piece twice. And she's like, how many seconds do you hold each curl for? I was like, do you want to just go pick up the kids, drop them off, and then come back? Because I'm getting frustrated. She's like, no, it's fine. Literally would rush out, and then we couldn't take a picture, which stinks. I just wasted my time and did that for free. So she was just all over a nightmare when it came to her like personal being as a human. But now add in the fact how she was with color. So let's say she had, I don't know, medium brown hair and a blonde balayage. She always would demand basically that I dyed her natural a darker chocolate brown. And then 2 months later, she would want to get the balayage brought up. And since now we had that permanent color, we would have to be breaking through a band. And so it would obviously be warm, or at least not warm, but not as icy as she wanted. And she was like, why? Okay, then I'll come back in Friday and you'll lighten it more. Like basically getting that second session for free. And if that was me now, I would explain to someone why they can't do it. And also too, maybe I would just use like a toner up top. And also like, we weren't even changing her base that much. Like, I remember it was not necessary, but I just didn't know how to say no. But now it's like, I look back and I'm like, why were you letting this girl tell you how to do your job? You saw the results that she wanted, and none of that included a permanent changed route. So I don't really know what that was about. That was an issue. And then she just would come in, she's like, I want to be blonder, so I want dark brown low lights. And I'd be like, and she'd be like, yeah, because it's gonna make the blonde look lighter. And I remember I was like, I don't think that's gonna give you the look that you're really looking for. I don't. And then I remember I tried to talk her out of it. She wanted it, I did it, and she hated it. So she's like, all right, I'll come back in Friday. Now at this point, I was done. And I'll get into this in a second. If you do want to fire someone who's unhappy with their hair, you do have to choose whether you want to fix it or you want to refund it. I see some stylists that are like, this client's like super toxic, which they really can be, but they're like, this client's super toxic and she's unhappy with her hair. So I was like, bye, I'm not your stylist anymore, and blocked her. And it's like, but if they're unhappy with their hair and you kept their money, it's like, I usually choose to fix it, especially because it's usually worth it more financially. The only time I will refund someone is if their hair like melts off their head. Even if someone is an absolute nightmare, I'll make sure that they're happy with their hair and tweak it. And then once they're happy with their hair, the next time they go to reschedule, I'll explain to them nicely why I can't take them as a client. But with this girl, she was such a mess, and she had so much hair too. I was like, it's not even worth it. And I was like, I remember I was doing another client and I got the text. I was like, I don't even care about the money. And that's how you know someone's like crazy, is then you're just like, I do not care. I will pay you to leave me alone, basically. And I remember I told her, I was like, I'm gonna put what you paid today in the mailbox. You're gonna take it, go find someone that'll make you happy. And I said it very nicely, and she was like, oh, okay. Because in her head, she's like, free money. Now, I don't know if she thought I was bluffing and I was gonna do her hair eventually anyway, or what I think happened is I think she went to other salons and she realized that I was actually a very good price, because that's another thing. She was always the type to not tip, nickel and dime me. And I don't remember how much my services were at the time, but they were low. They were like $175 for her who had so much hair to have like a full service toner blowout. Like, they were low, and she probably went to other salons and realized that it really should have been like $350. So she texted me and was like, I went to the salon and they said that I would need a color correction for how bad you messed up my hair. So she wanted money to get it fixed when I already refunded her. She wanted more money to cover the cost of what it would be. Now let's unpack that. She mentioned the salon name and I knew the salon, like I knew the people. So I texted them and I asked, and they were like, yeah, no, she came in and we actually were complimenting her hair and saying what a good job the person did. And she like rolled her eyes, and they quoted her what their prices would be, which I think were around $300, and she had a heart attack and left. Why is that my problem? Go to a beauty school if you want less expensive hair, but you're gonna come to me. So I was trying really hard to keep it professional, and I was like, I gave you your money back, and that means our ties are cut. And she's like, no, no, no. And I remember specifically her exact words were, you have to do my hair. If I was at a salon, you have to do my hair. I'm the customer. I remember I was like, oh, I don't have to do anything. That's actually the great part about being your own boss. I don't have to do literally anything. If I don't like your face, I don't have to do your hair. Now at this point, I was in the process of becoming an LLC, getting my liability insurance, all that stuff. I was getting so upset that I think Vinny took over, to be honest, because he was like, you cannot ask her for more money when she refunded you. That's extortion. And she was like, all right, then I'll go through her insurance company. What's her liability insurance? insurance. I literally cried like a baby, and to be honest, I think I did end up giving her more money, and Vinny was very upset with me because he's like, Abby, she cannot do anything. One, you didn't ruin her hair, you refunded her completely, but I just, you know, when you just want someone away from you so much that you're just like, give it. But Vinny was concerned that this is what extortionists do, that once I gave her more money, that she would continue to text me and be like, okay, I want more money. But I texted her and it was like, if I drop off, I forget, it was like $75, which for me was so worth the cost of leaving her alone. I would never do that now, but I was so new and young that I was like, I don't regret that money to this day, because I was so anxious. Like, I was sick about it. Then I texted her. I was like, look, I want you to text me back that if I drop off X amount of money, then you will never reach out to me again. And Vinny was like, well, that's not legally binding. I'm like, right, but she's stupid, so she probably won't know that. And she said, okay. And I dropped off the money and I never heard from her again. I don't know what I was worried about. I think I was worried that my liability insurance would drop me, but the liability insurance wouldn't pay out anything. You want more money so you can get your hair done at a more expensive place? Are you insane? But at the time, I was so nervous and I was just upset and so new. One of my clients at the time that she heard of me from actually texted me and was like, Abby, I am so sorry. I knew she was crazy. And I remember I was like, why would you send her to me then? So that taught me 3 things. Nick late clients in the bud, just explain to them. And that's another thing too. I get questions all the time why I stopped taking new clients, and I honestly might even make a separate video about it. New clients don't really know. They're used to salons where they walk in and they're sitting in the waiting room for 20 minutes anyway. I get it. I'm sure a lot of my existing clients now were late the first time, but once they saw how it ran, they were really never late again. If I had a new client coming, and let's say they were my first client of the day, I would text them around 8:55, hey, text me when you park. And if I didn't hear from them by 9:05, I would say, hi, just letting you know, if you're any later than 15 minutes past the scheduled appointment, we will have to reschedule you. And that's when they would say, like, all right, yeah, I'm pulling in 2. Yeah, it's annoying, but realistically, they would really never do it again. 2, how to deal with unrealistic expectations. If I had one of my super blonde clients come in now and she wanted 2 shades permanent darker at her root and then level 4 low lights, I would say, not if you want to go blonde again in 2 months, and I would just explain why. And honestly, I like having consultations through text because it covers your ass, because then God forbid if they're like, oh, no, you never said that, I could be like, really, here you go. And 3, if someone tries to extort you, like I said, either rectify it, refund it, and then send them on their way. Like, I would have blocked her by now. And I know that's what a lot of people are worried about. Like, oh, they're gonna slander my name. I don't want anyone that like is even in contact with this girl anyway, because she's crazy. Real quick, when it comes to wanting to go lighter and unrealistic expectations, I have talked about this in the past in a video. I think in my how to become a successful colorist video, which by the way, I get so many DMs from you guys saying, how do you build your clientele? And that is honestly probably my best tips in that video. So I'm gonna link it here and down below. I think there's a lot of good information, but I think I mentioned this, and it is so important to take pictures of the process and cover your bases with clients through text about the realistic expectations that they should have. Because if you don't, it is unfortunately your fault. If someone comes in with black box dyed hair and they want to go platinum and you say okay, and then they leave with warm light brown hair and you didn't tell them, that is your fault, because you did their hair. If I went in to get a tattoo and they told me I could do a full sleeve in 1 day, and then I pay for a full sleeve and I leave with half, let's say, I'd be upset because I just wasn't warned. That's my thing, and I'm sure clients want that same respect. But it really does come in handy. I have had clients where I explain it's a process and then they text me later and they're like, I don't really see a difference, and I'll send them 1, the screenshot of saying it's a process, 2, the before and after pictures so they can see that there is a big difference, and then they'll say, you're right, now that I'm looking at those pictures, it is a big difference. I understand it's a process if I don't want my hair to fall out, you know? And I talk about this a lot in that video too, but under promise, over deliver. The amount of times I tell people something's not possible and then we do it and it comes out perfect and they are like freaking out of happiness, I'd much rather that than them be disappointed. Now let's talk about if someone wants something tweaked. How do you know whether or not to charge someone for a tweak? And never call it a fix, especially if it's not a fix and if it's just like a tweak on their end. It's something that they're not happy with, not something that you did wrong. If they text me within a week and it's something very simple, like the toner didn't take as dark as they wanted, it's a little bit too warm or light, and it's not something that I foresaw or warns them about, I will redo it for free, usually because it's just a toner, and also because I will not include the blowout, because then everyone would just say that they want their hair retoned just to get a free blowout in style. But I will offer a blowout for an additional cost, but I'm not charging them for the toner, and I'll blow out the front of their hair, like this part, so they can make sure that they like the color. Now, if it's something like they wanted it to be lighter and I did warn them about it, I'll be like, oh, I totally understand you're excited about our next session. If you remember, we did say that it is going to be a process, so I will recommend that you book your next appointment in maybe 2 months, we'll do another full service, do a bunch of hair masks till then, and enjoy the process because like blah, blah, blah. And that is so smart because now it's like, you're making it clear, like, yeah, I'll see you in 2 months for another full service. Like, you knew about this. Now, this is where it does get a little tricky. I can think of a few where, and I love them to death. They're still my clients to this day, but they're really, really blonde and they want to go darker and they're showing me these pictures and I'm like, are you sure? Why don't we try going a little dark at first? They're like, no, 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 I want this. And that's when we do exactly like the picture and they have a heart attack because it is scary. And if they came at me and were like, you did it wrong or something like that, I would be like, here's the picture, have a nice day. But most of the time, all the times that I could think of, they texted me, they're like, Abby, I know you warned me, but I'm freaking out. It feels so dark. Like, I'm so stupid. What can we do? Like, I'll pay full price, like something like that. It's all about like the way that you come up. If you own up to the fact that it's you and I didn't do anything wrong, I'm gonna be way more willing to work with you versus if you come at me with an accusatory tone. You do catch more bees with honey. Sorry, I always go off on so many tangents, but same thing if someone wants to be squeezed in. If someone texts me right now or like, I need an appointment for the holidays. Okay, you're not getting one, but I literally have a text right now. I'm gonna grab my phone. This is actually my first time reading the whole thing and like I literally could cry. Like, my clients are so nice. So she goes, hi, I hope you are having an amazing holiday season. I feel almost disrespectful asking you right now, but in any chance that there's a Christmas cancellation miracle and you have an opening from the 20th through the 26th, I'm in desperate need of a color touch up, no style even necessary. Obviously expecting that your every minute is booked solid, but just in case, I love you so much. I hope you're doing amazing. I know you are. Like, are you kidding? And guess what? I'm gonna book her in because like that's just so nice. Like, you're gonna want to do nice things for people who are nice to you. Versus if someone's like, hi, I'm going away Tuesday and it's done before then. Like, it just, I don't know, it's just weird to me. So let's go back with the client that thought they wanted it darker and now they're upset that it's too dark, but they're being so nice about it. So if they can, like there's no big event coming up, I will ask them to wait a week or two because the toner and things fade out, like you guys know. So 99% of the time, I'm like, if you're seeing it's a little bit dark, just remember it does wash out in a few washes. I don't recommend it, but if it's freaking you out, wash it with a little bit more warmer water than usual. Maybe use a little bit of a clarifying shampoo just to lighten out some of that toner, and then text me how you feel in like 2 weeks. 99% of the time they'll wash it once and they're like, it's perfect, you're right. But let's say it's still too dark for them, but I'll usually do it for around 40% of their original service just to cover like my products and whatnot. So like, let's say their original service was $250 and they went dark and they hate it and it was exactly like the picture, I will lighten it again as long as they text me within the week for like maybe $100, which is still a lot, I know, but like realistically it's like that really just covers all my products and whatnot. Okay, so next I'm going to give you guys another example of a client that I had to fire, and this was a tough one because usually you won't have to fire anyone because if you don't vibe with a human, and I think it's unrealistic to think you're gonna get along with everyone or click with everyone. If my personality genuinely clashes with a client, I'm not going to be anxious 2.5 hours out of my day just because, and also too, I wouldn't want someone doing my hair or makeup if I felt like they felt that way about me. So obviously be nice about it. I know some people are like, no, that's just part of our job. Like, I don't agree. Like, if I can have 2.5 hours out of my day where I'm talking with a client like a friend, or 2.5 hours out of the day where I'm anxious and just uncomfortable, like why would I choose to do that? So most of the time the other person will feel that vibe and they'll just go somewhere else. You'll never have to be confrontational about it. And even if you fire someone, they're gonna be mad, but like, you know, lol, okay, and then you move on, right? This client, she was an OG client, but she wasn't a very consistent client. So she came like once in 2015 at my in-home studio, once in 2017, once in 2018 type of thing. I don't even think she was going anywhere in between. She was just pretty low maintenance with her hair, which is fine. So the first time she came to me in 2015, I remember specifically we were lightening out box dye and it was very warm and she loved it. Like, she really, really liked it. It was like a caramel balayage and it was very pretty, but you know, I like to think I get better every year with my work. So if I look back on a lot of work from 2015, not even saying it's bad, but I just know I could do a better job now. So I remember in 2017 when she came to me, she was like, I want exactly what you did in 2015. And I was like, okay, so you want it warm? She's like, maybe I just want like a nice like balayage. And I remember we did it and I remember being like, oh my god, it is so beautiful. And she was like, okay, cool, it's nice. Like, didn't complain, but just like, you know, it's nice. Texted me again in 2018 and she was like, hey, I liked what you did last time, but it wasn't as like caramel. That's the word she kept using. Caramel, caramel, caramel. It wasn't as caramel as I wanted. I want it to look exactly like how you did it at your dad's house. Now, as soon as I hear that, I want it to look exactly like this picture. Even if it's work that I did, I explain that's not gonna happen. I'm happy that you liked it then, but you have to remember we're dealing with a couple different variables. One, we're starting with a completely different canvas. So even if I did exactly what we did then, it's going to look different based on just how your hair is right now and also what we're starting with. Now, when someone says that, I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what they want. So I'm going off this one picture that was in indoor lighting from 2015. I'm just like, what did you like about it? Was it the warmth? Was it this? And then I was like, do you have any other pictures? And she sent me a Snapchat selfie. Like, you know, the one that makes everything pink and like large eyes. And I was like, that's a Snapchat filter. And she was like, no, it's not. I was like, are your eyes usually humongous like that? Are you kidding? Like, I was like, it is, but all right. She was like, no, I don't know. I just liked how caramel it was. And I was like, okay, caramel to a lot of people, like, yes, I know what I see when I see caramel, but caramel does mean a bunch of different things. To some people, caramel can be like this, and to some people, caramel can be this. So I need pictures. Couldn't find any pictures, not off my page, not off Pinterest, which I don't even like Pinterest pictures, but at this point I was grasping for straws. Just knew she wanted caramel. So I remember I was like, look, we can make an appointment, I can balayage you, I can do a caramel toner, at least what I say, and then, you know, like, that's it. She's like, all right, fine. We did it, and I'm blowing it out, and I remember I literally am like 10 out of 10. Like, I was so proud of myself because it was, from what I remember, a spot on image. I turned her around and she was like, I'm like, what? She's like, I don't think it looks like it. So here's the issue. If someone's unhappy with their hair, fine. But if I'm not even seeing the same thing as you, how are we supposed to have a client-stylist relationship? Because we don't even see color the same. Like, blowing my mind. So I took pictures and I was like, all right, text me tomorrow, we'll figure something out. I was texting my best friend that does hair, certain friends that have hair, that do hair, Vinny, the picture from 2015 and the picture of that day, 2 years apart, and everyone thought it was from the same day, just different lighting. So I can't even get other people's opinion. So I'm texting her, I'm like, I can't fix what I don't know is wrong. I need something. She's like, I just want more caramel. And at this point, I'm like, honey, if you say caramel one more time, I'm literally going to run into traffic. No more caramel. Just don't say it anymore. Either come at me with pictures or come at me with other terms, but if you say caramel, like, I don't want to hear that word ever again. So I think at this point she was starting to understand, and I was like, do you want it maybe a little darker and more rich? Like, that's what I think when I think of caramel. I think of like a really warm, like light brown. She's like, no, maybe lighter. But now at this point, she's like, I don't know. I was mind blown. Literally driving me nuts. But here's the thing. Remember, I wasn't gonna fire her because technically she is unhappy with her hair. So you either refund it, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna refund a service that I know came out impeccable. I'm not refunding that. So either refund it or make her happy. So it's like, I'm making her happy and then I'm nixing it. Like, this is insane. When she came in, I literally mixed Redken Shades 9G a little bit with clear. It was basically a clear glaze and she loved it. And I was like, that was just so not worth the stress. Fast forward many months later. Now here's the thing. I think I text back very fast with clients, like always less than a day. And considering it's just me, I don't think that's that bad. Usually it's within a couple hours. Now at the time, I was working Monday through Saturday. So my only days off were Sunday. So usually when I got home Saturday around 5 p.m., I wouldn't check my phone until maybe 1 p.m. the next day on a Sunday to confirm my clients because, you know, I wanted maybe 12 hours to myself. So I get home Saturday, 5 p.m. and I have a separate phone. So I put my hair phone away. I check it the next morning. Maybe it's around like noon on Sunday. And I have 3 texts. Saturday at 9 p.m. And I'll get to what the texts were in a minute because they were even more ridiculous. But let's just talk about the audacity. Saturday at 9 p.m. Sunday at 6 a.m. question mark, question mark, question mark. Then Sunday at 10 a.m. Hello? At 9 p.m. on a Saturday night, 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and then like 9. Are you kidding me? That pissed me off. Now let's talk about what she wanted. It was one of my clients who was platinum, bleached scalp, like platinum with pink ends. And I remember the picture and she was like, I want to do this. You can't even handle change if it's a different toner and you want to bleach your whole entire head white and put pink on the ends. It's not even possible. But if it was, I'm not doing it. And I already was planning on kindly not booking her again anyway, but that was just the cherry on top. I was like, first of all, my only days off are Sunday. So when I get home Saturday after work, I'm going to take 12 hours to myself. I have your text. Do not double text me like that. Second of all, and this is kind of a go-to if you are looking for something to say, I said, based on our last appointment, I don't think that we see color the same. I want you to be really happy with your hair, and I just don't think I can do that for you. I don't think I'm the stylist for you. I think you could find a better fit. Good luck. And she was like, no, I'm always happy with my hair. And I'm like, You've never been happy with your hair, except for the one time I did it in 2015, a perfectly adequate job if we're being serious about it. Like, it wasn't the Mona Lisa. Like, I really, like, I've done so much better work since then. I'm not arguing. Once you say your piece, keep it simple, and you really don't have to answer. Like, you're not there, you don't have to explain it to anybody. So she was freaking out, and she said, what do you mean? I'm always happy with my hair. And I was just like, I'm sorry that you feel like that. I don't, like, I wish you luck. Right, but that basically does it for Vlogmas Day 12. I love videos like this, so please let me know if you want me to do more like this. I was thinking about maybe doing a salon advice Q&A soon. So I'm probably going to ask on my Instagram. If you're not following me, it's at Abby Palmeriabby. So keep an eye on that because I'm always asking on stories, and you guys can just fill out the little question box. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing, favorite season. Sleigh bells ringing.